Servals live mostly in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. They share some of the same areas with the caracal, but not a ton, mainly because caracals can get all the food they need from, or all the water they need from the food they eat, whereas these guys need a water source. They also have extremely long back legs. If they'll stand up, you can see they're good jumpers. They have really long legs in general. Their paw strike is about a 60th of a second. What they use the paw strike for, they have bigger ears, if you notice, than the bobcats or the caracals. They have better hearing, so they can sit there and listen, and they can hear rodents moving through the grass, and they can also hear rodents moving underground to a certain extent. So they'll sit there and listen, and then when they hear a rodent nearby, they'll jump on it. They also use their paw strike to catch snakes. They're faster than snake strikes, so they can catch venomous snakes without being bitten. They're not immune to the poison at all. And they eat mostly rodents and snakes. They don't really go for anything bigger. One of their big threats, they're hunted for fur. They are used for kind of fake cheetah pelts, not so much the serval pelts, but they can pass for a cheetah. And they also, a lot of farmers where they live will hunt them, because farmers really don't like caracals, because caracals can take down their livestock. Servals will not take down the livestock, but farmers don't really know that. They see a cat like that, they'll kill it. So they're killed a lot by farmers and for the fur trade. Elvis is actually a rescue. He's one of our small cats that's not from the breeding program. We got a call about 5 years ago from a woman who said that her friend had a pet serval that she couldn't take care of anymore and wanted to know if we could give him a home. We quarantine all of our animals, so we would have to quarantine him before we accepted him. And we had 2 tigers in quarantine at the time. So we told her we couldn't take Elvis right away, and it was a Sunday, so our animal curator wasn't here. So we told her to call back during the week, and we would discuss when and if we would be able to take Elvis in. We had the resources for it. And she wouldn't leave us her number, her name, any information like that. So we just assumed she'd call back. But the next morning, Elvis was in a dog crate out in the parking lot with a little note attached. The note said, "Hi, my name is Elvis, and my owner loved me very much and took very good care of me, but can't take care of me anymore. Please, give me a good home." So we took him to the vet right away to get him checked out, and it turned out he hadn't really been taken care of that well. It appeared he'd spent most of his life in the dog crate. He had scars all over his face from rubbing up against the bars. And he also had a scar on his neck from what looked like an embedded collar when he was younger. Usually what happens is they put a collar on a baby, and then the baby gets too big and too feisty, and they can't get close enough to the baby to take it off. So it just gets embedded. Also, his back legs had started to atrophy, which means the muscles weren't developing because they weren't being used. And he had been declawed on all 4 paws. So he was in pretty rough shape. We put him in an enclosure as far away from everybody else as we could because we couldn't quarantine him. And when we first got him, he couldn't jump, really. Servals are supposed to be able to jump several, up to 20 feet forward because they hunt mostly smaller animals. They don't really jump up so much. But he couldn't even jump on top of this den box here because his muscles had not developed. And he was terrified of space. He'd never had space before, so he kind of went around in circles in a little corner for a little while. But he's a lot better now. His muscles have developed. He can jump on top of the den box. He won't do it for me, but he can.
He can jump up really high now.
He needs the top of his enclosure now. He probably didn't before, but we still had it for him. His muscles have regrown. Some of the scars are probably still there, but his fur has grown back, and he's much healthier, and he's doing a lot better. He loves food. He's one of the ones that if you bring meat out here, he'll be the one dancing and jumping around. It's really cute. But that's pretty much Elvis's story.
Yeah, if you want to read the letter that was left on his crate, it's actually in the education center where we started the tour. So you can read what was actually written about him by his former owner.
And lies written by his former owner. Yeah.
The thing about Elvis, and was true in most cases like Elvis, is it's not so much that the owner wanted to hurt him or tried to abuse him. It's more that people don't really understand the commitment and what it takes to take care of an animal like this. And you can't just take one and put it in your house. So usually what happens is people get it as a cub and then realize it's way too much to handle and don't know what to do, so they shut it in a small cage. So it is probably true that his owner loved him, but she clearly couldn't take care of him, which is true of most people, which is why we have big enclosures and regulations for how we take care of them.
A lot of owners think that they can just give them some kind of cat food and they're fine, but these are wild cats, and they live on meat. They have meat diets, not cat food diets. So the nutritional needs are usually not met as well.